Welcome to a dark and gloomy, rainy day. Another one that feels like autumn. We've had so many of these this summer. It feels like autumn, like July has been autumn, and now August is autumn, and hopefully September and October also feel like it. But since it's kind of dark and gloomy, I thought it would be the perfect day to go to the library and take the kids along so they can play a little bit. And I'm actually going to peruse the library bookshelves. This is crooked, that's really bothering me. I don't do that very often because the library is laid out so oddly here. I'm not a huge fan, but yeah, I don't know, it feels like the kind of day to just browse the shelves. So I thought I would take you along. I do have some books to pick up, and I will share a bit of a library haul when I get back. We will see if any of those books end up getting read in this video. I'll share what I'm currently reading when I get back, but for now, let's head to the library. One of my biggest problems is that they have it sorted. This is all just general fiction, even when it's actually should be categorized as something in particular. So hard to find anything. Like, these are thrillers. Why are they in general fiction? And then there's also historical fiction, like supernatural suspense, like Christian fiction, all mixed together. So hard to find anything. This is why I always put everything on hold. Right now I feel like I'm in the mood to read some fantasy, but how do I even find it amongst this? I like being able to go to a genre section and then picking a book from there. Oh, I found the fantasy. Okay, this they have by genre. Why? What is and mystery is beside it. Okay, so some of it is separated, but not all of it. Very confusing. What am I in the mood for? It turns out fantasy is from this shelf to the bottom of this one. That's all that there is for fantasy according to their categories. So I'm not sure I'm gonna actually find something I want to read here or not. I'm guessing probably not. Okay, that was a very successful library trip. I did have some books on hold. I wandered around. I ended up finding some books. Kids all found books. So I've got quite a few to share. I'm not going to share all my kids' books. They're already looking at them. But Rika found a Switch game, Fae Farm, which I've been wanting to try for a while. Your magical home away from home. Escape to the fairy tale life of your dreams. Adventure is at your doorstep. Magic abounds. I'm not really sure. I don't play a lot of video games, especially like by myself, but getting one out from the library is the way to go for sure. So I think she's gonna try it this afternoon to start, and then maybe I'll find some time in the next few days to give that a try. We got a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie, Holiday in the Sun. I know I have a hold on another one, so that's the one that they filmed in Australia. And then when I was looking to see what kind of Mary-Kate and Ashley movies they had, I also got out Influence, which has both of them on it. I'm very curious. I was a big Mary-Kate and Ashley fan way back in the day as a kid. And I don't really know what this is. It's like a coffee table sized memoir type thing, but it's from 2008. So like it's pretty old already at this point. They were pretty young, but I'm gonna flip through it. Okay, other books I got. I got the Chilbury Ladies Choir. I tried the first sentence of this on Patreon recently when I was trying the first sentences of some historical fiction books. This sounds like a very interesting book. It is set during World War II, I believe. The village choir closes down because a lot of the guys are all fighting, but the women decide to carry on singing. Oh, it's got a map on the end pages. It's kind of cool. I love maps. What else we got? Oh, Orphan Monster Spy. I think I also read the first sentence of this. This is possibly one that I would like Reika to read for school this next year. No, I didn't read the first one of this. Finally, the car came to a stop. This one I'm very interested in. The Nazis see just a little blonde girl, but she's their worst nightmare. Maybe I did read this one during that. I don't remember. I read so many. But I want to try to prioritize that. And then the last one that I had a hold on is a Christina Suzanne Nelson, More Than We Remember. What is this one? When Addison's husband is involved in a car accident that leaves a woman dead, her perfectly constructed life crumbles apart. With her husband's memory of that night gone and the revelation of a potentially life-altering secret, Addison has to reevaluate all she thought she knew. And then we have Amelia Cruz and Brianne Damano. So we're following 3 different ladies, maybe? I'm not sure. I've really loved her other books, so high expectations there. Definitely want to get to that before that has to go back. And then there was 3 books. They have this, like, I don't know what it's called, Young Readers' Choice Awards or books or something of the sort. And this is like the one section of the library that I feel like generally has good books. Tressa the Emerald Sea is on there. There's some other books that I've read before that have been on there that I've enjoyed. The rest of the library here is very pride pushing, I will say. But so I don't feel like I can trust a lot of their displays. But this display generally has a lot of good books. I mean, there's still some definite misses on there, but it's like the one place that I can go and be like, oh, this book looks interesting, or oh, I've heard good things about this book. I feel like it's like the one spot in the library I can trust, especially because their cataloging system is so weird. So I got 3 books off of there. 2 I've never heard anything about, and 1 I have. So I got Lying in the Deep by Diana Urban. The Perfect Escape Could Be the Perfect Murder. I kind of like YA thrillers because they're a little bit cleaner, usually. Not always. They should be. But I feel like it's a little bit safer. So this one has to do with a cruise ship. After being jilted by her ex-boyfriend and best friend, Jade couldn't be more ready to embark on the adventure of a lifetime. 11 countries in 4 months. That also intrigued me, the travel. All from the luxurious campus on board ship, and to wedge an entire globe between her and the people who broke her heart. But then they're also on the ship. And I don't know. I just thought, hey, give it a try. This one I really liked the cover of. Stars and Smoke by Marie Lu. She wrote another book that I tried and I never read. This one has to do with this guy that's a singer. He's a global pop sensation. And then we've got Sydney. So it says, when a major crime boss gives his daughter a private Winter Young concert for her birthday. So this guy's name is Winter, which messed me up at first because to me that's much more a girl name. With Sydney and Winter's lives suddenly collide. To stop an international disaster, the two must infiltrate the organization's inner circle, with Sydney posing as Winter's bodyguard and Winter... Wait, Sydney's posing as the bodyguard? Okay, and Winter tapped to join her as a new spy recruit. And Sydney is an agent in an elite covert ops group, and an ice queen whose moves are as dangerous as her comebacks. I don't know, I just kind of liked the cover. So, nice thing about library books is they're free and you can just try them, and if they aren't good, you don't have to read them or feel guilty. And then I've heard really good things about this book, What the River Knows, by Isabel Ibanez. Probably saying that wrong. I don't actually remember anything about it, but I know that people I trust have enjoyed it. Bolivian Argentinian Inez belongs to the glittery upper society of the 19th century Buenos Aires, and like the rest of the world, the town is steeped in old world magic that's been largely left behind or forgotten. Inez has everything a girl might want, except for the one thing she yearns for the most, her globe-trotting parents who frequently leave her behind. And they die, and she gets a massive fortune and a mysterious guardian. I don't know. But I've heard good things, and I like the cover. So those are the 3 I just grabbed without knowing anything. So once again, I got a bunch of books from the library. At least, I would like to try them all. 5 out of the 6 for sure I'd like to try. So my odds aren't good. I keep reading. Last week I think I read 1 library book. I ended up DNFing 2. I think I only shared 1 in the video. And I've started another one, but that's definitely not 6 books a week. I got to slow down my library habit here or something. But quickly, a book I am currently reading is a library book, A Quiet Life in the Country. This is the first Lady Hardcastle mystery. I think I got this from the library, in my last vlog. And I'm like halfway through. I am enjoying it. We are set in 1908. Lady Hardcastle, Emily Hardcastle, has moved to the English countryside. And she has this lady's maid, Florence Armstrong, who they're very close. They have some witty banter. I'm really liking that. A couple murders are happening here, so they're getting involved. They have this like mysterious past. They've obviously been involved in a lot of not sketchy stuff, like they're on the good side, I think, but they've been involved in some spyish things before that we kind of get alluded to a little bit. It feels a little bit like I wish we would have followed them on those adventures as well. It feels a little like I'm jumping in partway through the series, or like this is a spin-off series and there was one before or something. So I feel a little discombobulated that way. And because the book is written in first person from Flo's perspective, the lady's maid, I'm struggling a little bit with like just the way it's written in first perspective. But I am enjoying their banter, and obviously like I'm cruising through it. Rainy day, might just be finishing this up today. And then I've really decided in August here that I just want to read what I want to read. I have 2 books that I have to read for different things. But other than that, I'm just doing what I want. And right now, this is what I want. And then we will see after this what I want to read after this. I'm gonna eat some lunch and then hopefully just spend my afternoon reading. Afternoon plans complete. Book is finished. I enjoyed it. Definitely the characters and the banter are what make this book. I have like a few other like minor issues just with how it's written that I'm not a fan of, but overall really enjoyed Flo and her interactions with Lady Hardcastle. So finished it, which is great. And now I'm thinking about what do I read next. I just pulled out all of my library books, the ones I just got today and the ones I still have from last week. The ones that are the most interesting to me right now, A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic by J. Penner. I'm kind of feeling in the mood for fantasy. Let's read like the first paragraph or so of this one. A time-infused raspberry tart sailed off Arletta Starstone's rickety old wagon as if it had sprouted wings and taken flight of its own accord. The pastry smacked into the ground, the sweet red fruit exploding through the thin shell and splattering its sticky juice onto the earth with a horrible little squelch. Okay, not the like most intriguing first paragraph to me. I'm not like huge into baking, but this is a definite contender. What else? I'm not really in the mood for historical fiction, so I'm not really in the mood for these ones. I really want to read this one soon, but not yet. Orphan Monster Spy is also historical. Stars and Smoke, not really right now. My other options would be Christina Suzanne Nelson's More Than We Remember. Possibly Lying in the Deep, because I think it would be a quick read, like YA thrillery. What? I don't know What the River Knows. What? Okay, it's fantasy. Yeah, right, because there was some kind of magic. Okay, so this is another fantasy. I kind of feel like it's between these 3. Lying in the Deep, A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic, and What the River Knows. I think it's fantasy, so I'm not going to do the thriller. I think I'm gonna try A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic, and if I like quite early know that it's not this, then I'm going to give What the River Knows a chance. I'm realizing right now I have different like reading moods like most people, but I'm realizing I really love the library because it gives me kind of an immediate TBR, and the books don't have to stay on there forever and taunt me. Like, they need to go back to the library after a certain amount of time, so then they're gone and I can request them again, but they're not like sitting here taunting me like a lot of my physical TBR is. Definitely I should read some of the books off of my physical TBR. I also want to rearrange or organize my bookshelves in here, hopefully in this video, in the next few days, because I just feel like it's gotten very chaotic. But right now we're sticking with library books. We're gonna try A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic. It's got so many cute little things on the cover. We've got like this raspberry pie, and then I like the little honey jar, and I think that's a jam jar, and I love the illustrations on here, all the little pieces of it. So I will give this a try. When did this come out? 2023, and it has a map, which is always good. So yep, I think I'm gonna get supper going and then maybe try this while it's in the oven. It is another dark and gloomy day. No complaints from me still. Wanted to give a little bit of a reading update. I started reading A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic last night, and I DNF'd it. I don't know how far I got. Maybe like 20 pages. No, a little bit farther. And I'm quitting it because it feels kind of like The Spell Shop in some ways, which I read recently and mostly enjoyed if you watched my other vlog. But right at the beginning of this book, page 2, we've got, I don't know how main character or side character they're going to be, but our main character's neighbors are a gay couple, and after The Spell Shop, I'm just like, yeah, I don't really need to be spending my time reading that. I mean, yeah, I won't get into The Spell Shop. If you watched my other video, you'll know. There wasn't much in that one, but it was annoying. But the cover, I noticed, is by Katie Daisy, which is probably why I enjoy it so much. I haven't seen her work for years, but I loved it way back in the day. So, DNF'd that one. We'll talk a little bit about DNFing policies yet, but I decided to try another fantasy. So I have started Ember Gold by Rochelle Nelson. I just finished chapter 2. Yeah, I'm in chapter 3, read 32 pages, and I'm actually very excited about it so far. So I don't know how to say our main character's name. I will look it up hopefully before the next clip. But she has lived in this marsh for her whole life. Her father is hunted by a dragon, and I think maybe therefore she is too. Not really sure. But chapter 2, they're leaving their marshlands and they're going somewhere. And she has only ever really gotten to know her father's very distant cousin lives with them, and his wife, who he pretty much had as, like, she was like a child bride years ago. And so now they're going to an encampment. First time that she's really seen other people other than these men that work for her father. And I appreciate that she's confused about a lot of things, because it gives us an experience, a time to get to know this fantasy world where we are also confused because we don't know anything, but we're learning it with her. So I always appreciate that, because the first part of a fantasy novel can be really hard, especially if you feel like maybe you're missing something. But because our main character is also learning. I feel good about that. There's something about gold. The men that came to work for her father, somehow they got very dependent on the gold and possibly died. I don't really know much yet, but I'm really enjoying it. Plus, the girl that lived with them, what's her name? Issa, maybe? Yeah, Issa. I think that she maybe was a prostitute before becoming a child bride or getting married to this guy. It's not really talked about, but it's kind of alluded to, and I actually kind of appreciate this. This feels like a little bit more of a gritty book by Enclave, but in a good way. I was just telling Reika, like, usually with a lot of books, it starts out with our main character who had very loving parents, but they died. And so now they're going through a hard time, but it's okay because they remember the love of their parents, which, like, honestly is great. But it's just feeling a little overdone to me. So our main character, her father, he is decently easy to hit her, and same with the husband, the guy that's also living with them. Like, definitely not a positive thing, but I appreciate that it's a little bit more unique than what I've read for a while. So yeah, only 2 chapters in, but I'm going to be working on this definitely a bit today, since a cold, rainy day is the perfect time to be inside reading. Okay, we just came back from a 4-ish kilometer hike. That was a lot of fun, tiring. It's pretty much what Jared and I do on a regular. I think we do like 3.5 kilometers for a normal walk, but it's different with kids. Plus, it was much more beautiful where we were today. But I want to do a reading update because I'm going to be finishing Ember Gold. Unless things go terribly wrong today, my plan is to finish this. Before that though, I am listening to That Hideous Strength. I'm not very far yet into this one. Let's see, where am I? Page 59. This is my Read Your Bookshelf Challenge book, just forcing myself to get through it. Apparently this one doesn't even take place in space, which is kind of funny because it's the space trilogy and I'm using it for the space prompt. But because it's still part of the space trilogy, I'm still counting it. Apparently Dr. Ransom is in here. Concludes the adventures of the matchless Dr. Ransom. Haven't seen him yet. So yeah, doing it on audio, doing it on 2.5 times speed, I think. Beginning of the year, I was trying to not listen to books sped up. And a few months ago, I was like, okay, no, I gotta get rid of this idea. Sometimes listening to things quicker can make me feel more anxious, but sometimes you just want to get through a book. So that's what I'm doing with that one. Now let's talk about Ember Gold, because I am thoroughly enjoying this book, especially at the beginning. It was so very unique. I mean, like, I'm still enjoying it, but I feel like the beginning is just very different than a book that I've read before, and I was really hoping this would be a dragon book that I enjoyed, because I've been kind of 50-50 with dragon books in the past, but I'm really enjoying it. I am on page 248. I have, how many pages are in here? Oh, I have almost exactly 100 pages left. So that will probably only take me about an hour to finish this up. Going to do that next, and then I think I'll check in and let you know what I'm going to read next. But I tried to look up how to pronounce our main character's name, and it's like, depending where you are, it's pronounced differently. And because this is a fantasy world, I don't know how it's pronounced, because it's not, you know, like, there's the French and the Germans pronounce it very differently, but it's fantasy, so I don't know. And there was one point where she was learning how to read, and she knew how to spell her name, and she wrote her name out, and then she read it, and I was like, this would have been the perfect time for her to let us know how to pronounce the name. So that's like my one pet peeve of the book, is I don't know how to say her name. It's like, it could be Gilde, it could be Gilda, depending where it is from. So not a fan of that. But her father ends up sacrificing her to a dragon, like right at the beginning of the book. Nice guy. He wanted the dragon to stop hunting him, so he left her as a sacrifice. But of course there was some complications with that, let's say. I don't want to give spoilers. I did know the sacrifice thing because it's, I think it says right at the beginning here. Off to finish this now. So excited to see how it goes, where it ends. Is it a standalone? That's a question I have. Is there going to be more? I'm curious to see if I can tell by the ending. I think at this point that is a standalone, but sometimes they, you know, continue books, so I'm curious. So it didn't take me very long, and I finished Ember Gold. Really enjoy how it finished. Definitely left open for a second book. I haven't looked up if there's a definite plan for another one coming at some point, but it ties up nicely. Like, it could be a standalone, but there are some, you know, kind of like threads that definitely could be followed for a second book, which I think is kind of perfect, because it's not like we're left so open that I'm already waiting. This is always so crooked. That, like, I'm already waiting for the next one to come out. You don't, I think if a second one comes out, you don't have to remember too much from this one. As far as some of the details go, like I've been struggling with in some other books. Yeah, glad I finally read it. Loved it. What to read next? That's always the question. I think I'm going to start The Story Girl here right away. But my plan is to kind of read this slowly. I don't know how many chapters there are, but this book is very much like short stories. 32 chapters. So, like, in theory, I could have read a chapter a day this month. Almost exactly, but we're already farther into the month. But I think, you know, like a couple chapters here and there is what I want to do, and then pick up other books in between, because this is just one I want to like sit in for a while. And if it's the only book that I'm going to read it too quickly, and I want to soak it up for a long time. So I looked at my library stack, because apparently that's just kind of what I'm gravitating to. And When the World Fell Silent, I think, is going to be my next read or attempt to read. This has to do with the 1917 Halifax explosion as well. I think we have a character in the Canadian Army Nursing Corps. Yeah, so I think, yeah, we got 2 main characters, and I don't know how it's going to start. I read this one as part of my Patreon historical fiction Try a First Sentence, and I think it was good. I ranked them for that video. It's one that I'm very curious about, a very different time and place and event in history than I've read before. I never read anything about the Halifax explosion. No idea if it's going to be any good, but I want to start this at least, give it a decent try. One of the things I wanted to talk about was my policy for quitting books. I don't really have like an official policy, and I feel like over the years I've heard other people's, and some people are very strict. Like they found something that works for them, which is great, but often they feel like other people should also do what works for them. So some people, it's like they never quit a book ever. Some people, they'll do like 50 pages, 100 pages, a certain percentage. They'll have that, and like that's what it needs to be. Some people are like, just quit a book if you're not liking it. And it very much varies for me. It depends like kind of what's the content that's making me not want to pick it up. If it's a library book, I'm quicker to DNF it if I'm bored. If it's a book that I own, like for instance, if I wasn't enjoying Ember Gold, I give it longer. Or if I've heard something good about it. I know Ashley from Ashley's Bookshelf really enjoyed this one. So if I hadn't been enjoying it, but I knew that she had enjoyed it, I would have pushed longer than maybe I would for like a library book or something. If I've paid full price for it, I generally will give it more of an effort than if it's something I found in a little free library. And there are times where I think that, you know, like maybe it's historical fiction or maybe it's a classic. If it's not super interesting or catching my attention at the moment, I still think sometimes certain kinds of books I can really benefit from. Sometimes I feel like I have a feeling it's going to have a good ending, so I should push through. Sometimes I feel like, well, it's a classic, and because of these different reasons, I want to push through. Like, I don't have a specific, you know, I read this much, and if I'm not enjoying it, I just quit. I want to give books a decent effort because I enjoy reading, and I know sometimes they don't always start the greatest, but they get better. But there are just sometimes where I'm just like, you know what? Not this book, not this time. It really varies for me. So I don't actually feel like reading at this moment. I feel like I just need to like sit in this book for a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do is organize my bookshelf up here and my TBR cart. These are kind of like my unread books. Some of them are rereads that I want to reread, obviously, but it's just become chaos in the last little while. I used to have it organized and I don't anymore. And I'm going to work on that a little bit. Maybe I should listen to That Hideous Strength a bit. So when I'm doing a fun task, listen to something that I don't really want to listen to. I think that's what I'm going to focus on for a little bit before starting some new reads, even though this one's a reread. So yeah, you can come along with me and we'll see how we're going to organize this thing. Okay, I think the shelf is done for now. I'll explain what I did. Still some books on the floor that didn't make it in. I think I'll find different spots for those. So starting on the top here, we've got Christian nonfiction, which kind of bleeds into some Christian biographies and stuff. which bleeds into a random assortment of classics that didn't fit anywhere else. Here I've got my middle grade stack. They're mostly not historical, or like classics, except I think this would be considered a classic. Probably shouldn't be here, but whatever. I got plans for these soon. This is my little poetry stack, my unread poetry, for now at least. Moving down, I thought I would put my fairy tales over here in the front, and then in the back we've got some mysteries, suspense, bleeding into fantasy. Yeah, it's a little hard to categorize because some things I'm not really sure where to put them, but this is how it is, and I feel like that fit pretty well. This is like, I haven't read this yet. It's not really a mystery, but it has to do with Maisie Dobbs, so I just stuck it in there. And then moving down, these are a lot of my unread classics. I put my children's classics here, and then yeah, just tons of classics. These ones on the bottom are letters. Yeah, lots to read there. And then we've got Agatha Christie in the back on the bottom row, L.M. Montgomery in the front, two of my favorite authors. I would love to be able to get to all of these books in the next few years. At the same time, it's always nice knowing that I have some more of theirs to read that I haven't read before. Some of these are the same. Like I have this Agatha Christie autobiography is the same as this book right here. These are both her autobiography, and so is this. So I think those are just 3 different editions of the same book. I don't think that I have doubles of any of the books that she wrote here, but that can be kind of tricky. I mean, this one is a bind up. Down here we've got a bind up. I do have doubles of some of these. And then I do have doubles of the Dr. Sweetheart, but they're different editions, so they can both stay. And then yeah, just some I need to figure out where they need to go, but overall, not too many. I didn't really touch my TBR cart. I decided just to focus on this bookshelf for now, so I think it's looking a lot neater and cleaner. I did take off some like crafting supplies stuff that was on here, so I also need to find a home for that. But overall, I really like how this is looking. It looks much neater now. So this ended up being a very quick DNF due to a scene in the first chapter. So, I mean, the benefit is at least I didn't spend a lot of time reading it. I wish it would have been good though. So I will pick something else to read. Since my favorite books so far this month, like the ones I've enjoyed the most, have been fantasy, I went and I pulled 3 fantasy books out that I might be interested in. The first one is Spellbound by Kara Lynn Schultz, and actually I think I'm just gonna unhaul this one. I didn't pull it out because I think I would be interested. I pulled it out because I put it on my TBR for August, and honestly, I've never heard anything about it. I got it from a little free library. I think it just needs to go. Now, the 2 that I'm curious about here is What the River Knows, library book that I just got, and Six of Crows, which I've had on my cart, had for a while. I think I should try to prioritize the book that I own, and then if I'm still in the mood for a fantasy after, then I'll try What the River Knows. I feel kind of confident on that. I spent last summer reading the Grisha trilogy, so it'd be kind of fun to read whatever this duology is called, Six of Crows and then The Crooked Kingdom quickly this summer yet. So I don't know anything about this one. Ketterdam, a bustling hub of international trade where anything can be had for the right price. And no one knows that better than criminal prodigy Kaz Brecker. Kaz is offered a chance at a deadly heist that could make him rich beyond his wildest dreams, but he can't pull it off alone. Oh, and then I'm assuming this is his crew. A convict with a thirst for revenge, a sharpshooter who can't walk away from a wager, a runaway with a privileged past, a spy known as the Wraith, a heartrender using her magic to survive the slums, and a thief with a gift for unlikely escapes. Kaz's crew are the only ones who might stand between the world and destruction if they don't kill each other first. I think it's about time I gave Six of Crows, 6 dangerous outcasts, 1 impossible heist. I think it's time I give this book a try. So this is kind of working well. I've got an unhaul book to try. I've got a backup book slash follow-up book maybe. That's part of my library stack, which I don't know if you can see it all here, but it is shrinking. I mean, I've read and DNF'd a couple of them already in this video, so that's helpful. Let's give Six of Crows a try and see how it is. It's been a couple days now, I think, and I haven't read a ton since my last update, but I want to close out this video. I'll share what I've been reading. I've been reading a little bit more poetry. I read that this morning while I was sitting in a waiting room. Also did some writing of poetry, slowly trying to work on getting enough poetry together to actually publish a book. Still working on that goal very slowly. Yesterday I started my reread of The Story Girl, thoroughly enjoying it, already adding more tabs than were in here. I'm replacing my old tabs with the new ones, and yeah, already adding in more, underlining, highlighting more things. Enjoying time with Sarah Stanley. Still don't have a live date for this. Possibly the last week in August. I don't think it'll happen the first week of September, so if it's not the last week in August, it'll have to be the second week in September, so we'll see. I have been reading a bit of Six of Crows in the last couple days. I made it to page 104 so far. This book it's so funny. Like, obviously a teenage girl highlighted it on the edges and then kind of, maybe she didn't like her choice, and then she took a knife to the pages and she tried like cutting that out. It just feels very, like, I can just imagine a girl doing this at school, or maybe not with a knife. Maybe she used a scissor, but it looks more like a knife. Hopefully she did that somewhere else and was safe. But it's just kind of hacked. But hey, that's what happens when you get used books. There is quite a few characters in here. I'm still trying to get to know the world a little bit. So I'm still kind of feeling confused. There's a few things I'm enjoying, and I think that it has potential. I just haven't made it to the part where it's like, oh yeah, okay. I'm like really invested. When I was reading it in the waiting room today, I kept getting distracted, and I felt like I wasn't into the world enough yet to be able to read it and tune out the real world. I felt like I needed all of my brain, and so much of my brain gets distracted by other conversations, so I didn't get to read a ton of it in the waiting room, but I'm enjoying the idea of this so far. So I read a couple books during this video, DNF'd a bunch, I'm in the middle of a few, and that's just kind of life. So thanks again for joining me for a reading vlog, and I will see you guys again soon in another video.